Dire's ban.
The other Ursa.
Gabby.
Radiant's ban.
But both of them played the game exactly the same, went down that mid, crushed, no buybacks, and I feel like they have a very similar team fight style.
Yeah, they do, and that's where, like, TNC, it's all about their, like, they need to have a good read on the game. Like, if the game gets a bit difficult, they're not really able to kind of pick apart the exact way to get back into the game, but if the ball's rolling, they are disgustingly good. They will just run you over, punish every kind of small mistake.
Radiant's ban.
And the flip side, NIGMA, you know, their team, I think they have currently in this group stage or DP or this major, they have like the most assists out of all the teams.
Don't you like? Wouldn't you agree that all the teams right now are doing the same thing? It's like forget all the tactics, strategies, just group up together and fight.
Yeah.
At least the games that I've heard Fogged say this. Laners that very popular. TNC even like tiny position 4. I don't like it at all, but on mid lane it can be pretty strong.
Okay. You know, I'd like to raise my MMR a little bit here. I understand Nyx, I understand Mars, Puck. Talk to me about Enchantress. What makes this hero good? Because, you know, back in the day, she used to just be the lane tanker. Now, she's a little bit different, right?
You actually need to be a little bit good now to play Enchantress.
Yes.
Well, that's unfortunate.
Exactly. No, because it's not, you don't have to be amazing. You know, you just have to be good. And you are, you know,
Still
on the way
unfortunate, T-Governor, but yeah, what makes her good, T-Gov?
Well, in the 4 role, you have a little bit of versatility and itemization. In Eastern Europe, they'd be going, for example, on save, he'd go for Dragon Lance, and he'd be a right clicker. In Europe, Tiger, he'd go for Solar Crest Hood, and he'd just become tankier. That aside, the laning phase, it's so hard to really kind of block the camps to stop Ench from playing Dota.
Especially if Kuroki is playing it, and especially if he's beyond godlike on Enchantress, like in the last series, he had like 11 kills or something until they killed him. Position 5 Enchantress that was surrounded by 5 heroes gave 700 gold once they killed him. It's he was in a good spot. Team NIGMA actually is developing their own style, and it's pretty much centered around these supports that have a lot of sustain. You can see the Wyverns, the Enchantress, the Treant. Holy Locket is probably an item that they buy almost all the time, especially on Ench. And then you have this Ursa or whoever that's a carry that just doesn't die in fights. Dragonite as well, very popular, but they picked the Mars instead of it, because if Mars is free, you pick Mars. Why do you pick Mars? Because you have 100% win rate on the Mars. Why wouldn't you?
The hero is so good. Like any area control, and the main thing against Nyx is, right, like he wants to run around and find kills. If you have a team lineup that is built around team fight or cushioned by the creeps having its own vision, then Nyx can't really ever find a kill, and you don't really blow up either of these heroes either, so solid.
Nyx for SCA. So SCA scrims a bit with the Chinese region as well. And Nyx Assassin wasn't that popular up until the last couple of weeks. I think the hero is good, but it's good in a specific meta. It's not always good. Because Lash was so popular, Nyx started being popular. Because heroes that are actually bad versus Nyx started being popular, that's where Nyx came into play. If you wanted to play a PL, you preemptively pick Nyx and then you pick PL, so you can't get countered by these Lashes and whatnot. Just picking it like this, I don't see what he does to Ancient Mars. It's actually not that great. Right now on the opening, it doesn't feel
well,
hero.
Another interesting thing is a PA.
Radiance ban.
I have not even seen PA at this tournament. Have you guys? I mean, is she any good?
It's had its showing. I think TNC actually did play it earlier today.
Liquid as well.
Yeah, and it has its merits, especially against a Mars Ench opening. PA is a hero that can play around kind of skirmishing fights and can also get out the arena. You can just blink strike out of it.
10 seconds to go.
In laning phase, you don't really care too much about the Mars either. Want to get a bit closer?
5
I
seconds.
just came a little bit closer.
That was nice.
I haven't seen
Whenever you guys say points you agree with, I notice you do tend to gravitate closer together.
He is
We gravitate towards Pudge. We would like to see some Pudge. Actually, TNC, in the last week of their season, lost to a position 3 Pudge. So maybe that's an idea. Ready?
No.
One problem for Sky obviously is the Nyx.
Yes.
Like 1 mana burn and I'm die.
Radiance pick.
Versus Puck, it's pretty good because you get that instant silence. Not many Pucks buy into dispels at the moment, like Yules. You don't buy it early on. You want that Witchblade, Blink Dagger, all these damage items. Right now, I think he's forced. You need to itemize defensively.
Faceless Void.
Skywrath ults and Nyx runs into it with Spike Carapace invisible while it's hitting someone else. What's the interaction there?
You're just gonna stun the Sky.
Yeah,
but you're not gonna kill.
You want to kill him.
Well, no, I'm talking about like if Puck is initiated on, does it split the damage? Because I know that's kind of what you do with Skywrath.
There's like one
try to run in there.
So you'll get like you'll
You mean if Puck is ulted by Mystic Flare?
Yes.
And you run into the Mystic Flare.
Yes.
Invis.
You will share damage?
You will share the damage, but the Carapace will only proc 1 hit on Skywrath.
Okay, so
they set up. They had this versus Liquid as well. The Void that is. They set up this Skywrath now for success. You have Mystic Flare easy setup with either the Mars or the Void, and they also take away the Void from the Snapfire +1 combinations.
Sure, but Snapfire's pretty good against Void too. When she sees Chrono, she just gets to unleash hell, right? If she's not caught in it.
Well, that's kind of what TNC is playing
Catches
for.
some of his own teammates, maybe.
Maybe.
TNC's basically playing for Team NIGMA to run at them, and then they'll have the coil, the next positioning, to then layer the fight on top. And now they kind of double down the need for them to have some laning presence with a Viper. Most likely it will be Viper Nyx in the offlane, Puck mid, Snapfire 5.
10
and that is going to give
go.
them just kind of kill threat across the board.
And
Radiance
Void
ban.
hates playing against any dots in the lane.
Yeah.
So Venomancer and Viper are probably the worst heroes to play against, as you can't just time walk away and regain all the HP because those dots will still continue hitting you.
Sure.
I'd like to see some laning setup thought from NIGMA here, where maybe they smoke out a base early on to get that deep kind of tier 2 style ward, see where the Viper's going, because like a Mars
And then
Ench,
switch the lane.
yeah, Mars Ench could probably lane into a Viper, and then you can just lane like Sky Void into the off lane or away from the Viper, because Snapfire is a killer. I don't think he'll be able to get kills onto a Void, so I think that would be a nice kind of way to get around this Viper pick that TNC is kind of thrown into the works.
5 seconds.
All right. Well,
Radiance ban.
a couple more bans out here. Anything too interesting?
Dire's pick.
Nothing. That's
Oh, the Ursa.
Yeah.
Shadow Fiend and Earth.
Wow.
That's Shadow Fiend, right, from TNC?
Yeah, that's a Shadow Fiend. That's a rare ban. We
SF
don't
Lina.
get it often.
Yeah, so basically SF, Lina, Invoker, all three heroes that work incredibly well with the Chronosphere. You want to get rid of those. Lina, by the way, looked extremely powerful coming from that mid lane in the last couple of weeks so far.
Team Spirit just played it. Yules, AC, BKB.
Just go that right click damage.
Very good, yeah.
Especially with the Void when you have that Chrono in front of you. It's
Yo, how did he make it through? Wraith King.
perfect. Actually, perfect pick.
Yeah.
Perfect pick. Because I was worried for TNC as this Viper on the offlane doesn't do what normal offlaners do, right? Like he's not this first initiator running in, giving info, also creating the team fight.
10 seconds
However,
to go.
Wraith King can cover that base, and also Wraith King doesn't
5 seconds.
doesn't care at all when it comes to the Chronosphere.
Not at
yeah, you can chrono him, but I'm still gonna live.
Or kind of Mars Arena, or kind of Skywrath. I mean, you know.
There's a lot of stuff.
Yes, blowing up any of these giant spells on a Wraith King is great for him.
Yeah, and that's the best way of wording it. Simply, Wraith King is the hero that now unlocks all the other heroes when playing Dota. Because those four, initially on TNC's draft, they need someone else to go in first. They need someone to unlock the fight to truly get their game spells out. And Wraith King, of course,
I'm not sure.
that bit.
I'm not sure if they play it here. Something like a Death Prophet would be fantastic for Team
Yeah, that's
NIGMA.
into the puck, yeah.
But
Why do you say that?
it's great versus Wraith King as well later on. Heroes don't care. You actually own him, but
In what way? Just because your ghosts keep damaging
the way,
him?
yeah, your ghost keeps damaging him, and the way you itemize the
Oh.
Is this?
Who's it gonna be?
It's Mars mid versus Puck, right?
Yeah, Mars mid versus puck, and then Beastmaster offlane. Wow,
Yeah.
that's... Draft is really strong, but it's built around Wraith King having a map to play into and a jungle to play into. And Beastmaster as an offlane, especially with Snapfire as your supporting cast for the TNC, this Beastmaster should have a free time if it is the offlane Beast. And I think that's a lot of tempo they're going to bring out in their draft, and it unlocks the Void game as well. Like, we don't see an Accelerant right now, Solar Crest on Edge, and Beastmaster in a Beast, and this Void's going to start slapping.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Not a lot of guys are running that Beastmaster except for NIGMA, so that's always scary when only one team's really rolling with a hero. They know what
Mars
they're doing.
mid, so, it should crush Puck on paper. That's what I've heard. I've heard this Mars mid versus Puck, and I've seen it a couple of times actually backfire and not do anything. But
Oh no.
I have to say that I actually like TNC's draft better and more.
Whoa.
Yeah, the way I see it, it's much easier to execute.
90 to 10. Come on, God, jeez.
Twitch chat would never be biased. It's
Shameful.
Just, yeah.
Twitch chat Enigma.
All right, anyway, so you're up for TNC then, Loser?
It's hard to go against Enigma in this form, but I will. Yeah.
Okay.
See, Twitch chat can hate.
Very well. T-Gov, what are you feeling?
Go with the Beastmaster.
Okay. Sounds good. All right, well, we have a game for you, ladies and germs. It should be a good time. Enjoy round 1 of 2 with our fabulous casters. We're going to shoot it over to Sunsfan and Cinderin. Oh, I didn't know it was them. That's not that fabulous. Go ahead.
có đài bắt ở đây không? 458 đài bắt rồi.
Better get ready. Dire's ban. Radiant's ban.
See, it's all about...
Dire's pick.
Into a cookie, and that is going to be more than enough to either get the first blood to
That's a
Arnal.
first
He
blood.
wants it,
30
and he'll get it. The
seconds to
Fairy
go.
Fire was expended to try to
A fascinating
trick them into giving it to
substance.
somebody else, but the mid laner does, in fact, get first blood.
Yeah, I don't think Kuro was expecting to survive by using the fairy, but like you said, he was hoping someone else would get the kill maybe, because they know that getting that first blood it was very clear that that TNC were trying to give that kill to a specific hero, right? Half of them stopped hitting, so that Puck could get it, but managed to pull it off regardless. Interesting starting word there coming in from TNC as well, blocking off this camp and getting the rotation vision. Obviously playing against Enchantress, it makes a lot of sense to block this camp. You're going to likely body block the small camp and put ward in the other camp, or vice versa. I don't think it's reliable to have one hero block one camp each, so we will likely see the next do. We'll see which one he sentries and which one he body blocks, but it is absolutely integral playing against Enchantress that she does not get a creep.
Hell yeah! So Miracle is the one playing Beastmaster. There's some question about what role this would be. It will be mid. It will be that Aghanim Scepter build, which has been nerfed to Oblivion. But I have seen it a couple games and it still looks okay.
The Dire's courier took him straight to the old
is just going to TP out to the tier 1.
Some things are just not meant to be.
I love the fact that we're seeing so many different positions now on all these heroes. It's awesome to see. I mean, the fact that we thought it might be a mid Mars, very cool.
I do think overall putting the Beastmaster mid is probably the better choice. Mars is just such an exceptional side laner.
Just for good measure.
Especially given that
just to make sure
it seems
he's
like
dead.
NIGMA are electing to run a starting tri-lane. Mars fares better in this 1v2 than Beastmaster does, I would say. He is going to get pressured here, of course. He might even die.
Yeah, the Ray Fire Blast into the cookie, but
not
Mind
yet.
Control will live for now. Still only level 1.
Yeah, when they get level 2s, he dies there, but not the case yet. But what NIGMA are accomplishing with this is you're playing an offlane Viper. This hero is a lane dominator, and half of its purpose is now gone in the game. Mars can come back. Viper will not suddenly start dominating if you shut it down entirely, and I think that's the game plan here. I don't think the reason NIGMA did this was primarily to protect Void. It was more to bully. More to bully that Viper. He's going jungle. I see lane swapping? No, is he flat out just jungling on Viper?
Yeah, that's a good question. It looks like he is for now. We'll see if he actually continues. I mean, Nether Toxin level 1 will allow you to take out some of the small camps, but I mean, what are your thoughts on Viper offlane in general? Because it's kind of it feels like a hit or a miss. It's good in the draft because you don't know what position it is, technically speaking, because we have seen it mid and offlane. Obviously, the Nether Toxin good against heroes like Mars to be able to make them very squishy indeed. But in the laning stage, are you expecting him to be okay in that bot lane eventually?
He's not coming back.
All right, well, all right.
I think he's done, at least for now. Like, I don't see any purpose in returning right now. Maybe on level 3, perhaps he can come back, but Kuro's gonna chase him. He's not even gonna get level 3.
Yeah,
he has a mission this game on this Enchantress, and that is remove Viper from the game.
Okay, well, he's done so successfully thus far. Bach only level 2, but you have to expect him to. I mean, Tims is doing a really good job of kind of being an annoying presence in that bot lane, but it's still a Nyx assassin. There's only so much he can do.
Actually, I do think Viper can return on level 3. So Skywrath is level 2, Void is level 2, and if Enchantress are level 3, sorry, but if Enchantress doesn't come down here, they can definitely play that lane 2v2. And if Kuro hadn't started here, they would be crushing, I think. It would have been a really good lane for the Viper, so it makes a lot of sense that Kuro chose to start bot. Oh, this would be such a big kill for GH.
Yeah, Bach is quite low. GH, he's gonna find him. There's a concussive shot, Arcane Bolt to follow. A couple more right clicks will suffice. He's already popped a Fairy Fire. And looks like one more is needed, and GH added again. I mean, look, he already has a crown. He's building Atos pretty much straight up. That is very cool to see. He has a lot of stats right now.
This is such a good read, right? He had no vision. All they know is that the Viper is probably not top anymore because Kuro bullied him away. So GH solo smokes at the time where he feels like Viper has taken enough damage in the jungle to be killable. If he goes there 10 seconds earlier, there's no kill because Viper is half HP instead of a third. So that was actually just flat out perfect timing.
Gabby, get another Wraith Fire Blast. He has the skeletons, but the Rebuke is going to keep most of them off for now. As looks like Armel dies in the mid lane to Miracle.
That is, I will excuse the observer not seeing this kill because that was not expectable. That Beastmaster kills Puck before level.
Expectable.
Yes.
Is that a word?
It is now.
Okay.
It always was.
Cinderisms. Sure.
That is not a word.
Bach, I mean, that is also made up. So Bach is now in the bot lane again, so level 3, like you said. But Miracle, level 6, I mean, in terms of the CS, he's doing a little bit better. And obviously that that kill will put him quite a bit ahead in this mid lane. I mean, what are your thoughts on Beastmaster Axe these days? Because like I said, they got rid of the bonus damage, so basically the Axe will just lower the cooldown to 0.
Seeing a replay of the kill
damage,
here.
yeah.
So Axes.
All right, he's getting slowed by board.
Oh, all right, that was barely a kill, but it was.
Hey, maybe we shouldn't have come down here, I guess. Tim is doing just fine, though. Somehow, I mean, the base region on Nyx, I don't think they changed that. Yeah, 4.9 right now.
Leave my lane, go jungle.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like. But then GH just goes out and gets another kill. I mean, GH is playing pretty greedy in terms of the items. He hasn't gotten boots yet, just going straight for the Atos. What are your thoughts on that? Pretty cool. Oh, bot lane.
That's top.
Or top lane, sure. It's a Cinderism.
The other bot lane.
Well, if it's flipped, it's bot. It's right there. He's going to try to position himself so he takes a little bit less damage thanks to that passive, but TNC gets the better of him here. ILTW and GH. Again, this will be such a big kill. It looks like they're going to at least find one from the TNC side. But again, Bach drops, and he is struggling. I mean, he has 27 last hits, which looks good, but a lot of those are jungle creeps, which are going to be worth less. It's a rough start.
Like we're seeing the...
Oh my, that was the run to a couple axes here. Into the coil on TP support with the cookie. Oh my god, the creep was looking the wrong way. That is very unfortunate. Actually get the kill. Miracle. Oh no. TNC, Boomy will get the trade at least. GH. Yeah, the Arcane Bolt will net himself the kill. He's turning into a carry himself right now.
Oh boy, that has to feel so bad. I think he missed the illusory orb and they missed the cookie, and therefore they both die. That is ugly. To talk about GH's build, I think other Skywrath builds we've seen, I think Secret played this hero twice. I believe Yapsor rushed Veil both games.
Before boots?
Yes. Skywrath has really good base move speed. 335, one of the highest in the game.
Nice transition from Tim's punishing that.
Wait, what is Skywrath's base move speed? Is it 325?
You're not
It's one of the fastest in the game for sure.
325.
Wow, you are good.
Yeah, it's 325. So
you are good.
That is the same speed as I think Maiden with boots. So it gets.
That is so sad, actually.
Yeah. So you can bypass boots because your hero is so fast and because all of your spells have really good cast range. So it's not necessary. And getting a high impact item can be obviously make a really big difference.
I mean, he's pretty close to Atos, so.
Radiant's mid tower's coming
seen
apart.
Skywrath games where they get their second item and also don't get boots.
Really?
But I would not recommend that most of the time. But I do think skipping them as first item is a really good choice a lot of the time.
All right, fair enough. I mean, Miracle right now has a Soul Ring. Obviously, he's had the bottle for a while, so Ags is just next on the list, can almost get his point booster already. So he is going to have a very, very good timing.
Where are you going?
Coil from Armel into the jungle. Looks like they'll find Kurogi at the very least.
We did spot,
with a
but
double
in the
cross
end
here.
she
He's
tired.
not level 6 yet, but they probably have enough damage, especially with that back from ILTW.
Glad we can meet.
Still level 5, he's pretty tanky as this Nyx assassin. Now Bach waddling his way over. Not really able to provide too much damage though. Mystic Flare to come out again with the tomato trying to block. So Kurogi from the grave still doing
Dire
nice
structure's
micro work.
looking fortified.
And it'll actually die of its own accord, so no
Radiant's
actually going to
bottom tower's seen better days.
I'm curious to see this
mid
Beastmaster
towers
Axe. Like we know it's been
technical
nerfed quite a lot.
difficulties.
I believe I've played a couple of games against it, and it still feels impactful as long as the fights, as long as it's the types of fights that the game has drag out long enough for you to throw a lot of them. It's still really powerful. I think the only reason they really considered it is the chrono, right?
And we see the roar here. Kurogi and GH are on the other side. What? Cookie onto the high ground, but there's the Mystic Flare. There's not any more action coming from that Snapfire. Meanwhile, bottom lane, ILTW takes a tumble. And Viper Strike was definitely used for that, so Bach finally getting some revenge in this lane, and I mean, he's starting to stabilize a bit now.
Yeah, gets the ulti off on mind control as well. Put that extra bit of pressure, but he is exposed. Kuro will not reach in time.
Yeah, not enough catch yet.
Trouble brewing at Radiant's bottom
we can
tower.
get a nice replay here. Yeah, the Nether Toxin. Mars Arena came out, but looks like the damage was just too much for
tower
Bach.
could use a
He
little
was
help.
half a second from living. He needed 1 mana to use Time Walk.
Literally.
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
Dire's mid tower won't last much
Gabby on the
longer.
Wraith King. I'm not sure we're going to see any crazy... I mean, what are you expecting him to build? Is it just going to be the Armlet build or the Radiance build? Looks like he'll answer my own question here. Is that a Midas or is that just a casual Gloves of Haste? That is the question.
Casual Gloves on Wraith King are pretty good. We see it a lot of the time. The hero just spends a lot
terms of net,
fortified.
it's still relatively even, but I mean, if I were TNC, I was gonna say if I were TNC, I'd be a little scared of Miracle because he's getting complete free farm. But then again, I don't really know how strong Ags is right now. Like we've seen a couple games, it's looked okay. It's just
Radiant's
before
bottom
I'm just used to
tower
seeing it as
seems
this
better
mega
Dire's
broken
mid tower won't last
mechanic
much longer.
with the extra damage that used to be applied.
Oh, the thing I see here is if Miracle does not help, he's going to get jumped here.
Yep, solo coil though into the snapfire. He's gonna try to reposition himself, but ends up getting
Dire's
the
mid
break
tower
on the
is
coil
nothing now.
and nice silence. Onto our map. And the right click from Black, will that be enough? A nice chronosphere onto 2. They're going to be able to get Armel, as well as potentially another kill onto Blue. Nice rotation by LT back. And now Viper completely surrounded. No kill for Miracle that time, but he does survive, and they get a bunch of kills.
Outplayed.
Look how close he is
ANIMAJOR trying to
They
bust down
needed,
radiant structures
they
now.
needed so little to follow up on that coil outside of the snapfire ult, but nobody was in range to get on Miracle there. I'm going to say maybe it was a bit naive to do it like that. Like maybe you wait until one more hero is close, but at the same time when you saw how it played out, it was so close that you could understand why they would think they were going to get that kill.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, all of the stats, right? You're going Axe build. You get all of this health early on in the game as Beastmaster. You have really good stat gain too. I think Miracle's sitting on like 1800 max health right now, so that's a lot of spells that need to land.
Yeah, and he's only 800 away from finishing Ag, so he'll probably finish that in the jungle and then go to the Ancient.
Like, what's that? And if you're playing Tinker, it says rearm doesn't refresh Necronomicon. If you're a new player, I wonder what that is.
It's a hidden item that you can find in the depths of the jungle on the side of the map.
You need to...
you have to unlock it somehow.
You need to go to the shopkeeper and ask for the secret menu.
Yeah, just like in and out, yeah.
Yes.
Great mechanic for in and out as well.
Double Necronomicon.
Radiant's top tower's in bad shape.
He's just going to TP out here. And he's going for the Witchblade. And not too far away from finishing that, but of course Miracle is just so far ahead right now.
So what we used to see Beastmasters go after this item was Boots of Travel and Ether Lens. I still think Lens is really, really strong if you're going this build, just because it gives you a lot of mana, it gives you the freedom of positioning. It's also obviously great for Roar, having the extra cast range. In the past year, the Beastmasters buying Ags only for that when it used to.
Yeah.
To work like that.
He's actually sharing the Ancients here.
Dire's
Unbelievable.
top
He only needs
tower's
one creep to
getting
finish
beat
that
down.
thing, but
Yep, he's got
Them
it.
Dire buildings are tough as
Let's see what he puts in the quick
now.
buy. He might wait for now.
Radiant's
What
mid
I would
tower's
expect is
getting
probably
banged
travels
up.
into Lens, but
The
he might buy
Dire
them
might
in
want to
opposite
mine
order.
their top tower.
And he could consider Lens BKB even and not get travels, because the thing is, there's
Dire's
nothing in the
top
Dire lineup
tower's
that
getting
counters his
beat
BKB.
down.
So if he gets that off, he more or less has guaranteed at least 5 sets of axes in a team fight.
Yeah.
And given that he's playing together with Chrono, that would be
Dire
really
might
interesting.
want to mine their top
being
tower.
shown, and yeah,
Radiant's
by the
bottom
H
tower ain't a pretty sight
is
right
very
now.
scary despite not having boost right now. Mind control.
Dire's
Trying to
top
chase
tower.
Bach here.
You know
Bach
the
on level
Dire's
8
got
right
one
now,
last
but
top
like we said,
tower.
has kind of stabilized. Could have been a lot worse, but the Mars Arena comes up just in range, and the speed
Somebody's
is
on
not
How about that?
enough, sadly, into the wrong direction. So NIGMA are looking quite good right now. Now, from the TNC side, of course, Wraith King, that's the hero you're going to be banking a lot of your efforts on. And he's going to get pretty close to Radiance already. And once Radiance is on, is that enough to start fighting, you think? Or do they need a little bit more?
I think you have to. I don't think this game is going to get easier over time when the Radiant has a late game Void and this Beastmaster Axe. There's going to be a really scary timing in 5 minutes. Yeah, Beastmaster Axe.
Yep. All right, so more axes to come, more amplified damage. TNC are kind of positioned to never mind. All right, that's the Aegis for Miracle. They're just going to go high ground. ILTW does have the Chronosphere available, but it looks like Kuroki's going to get picked up to start this fight. They're going to try to counteract this. Looks like we'll get a trade for the Nixus asset, but the Chronosphere only onto one hero. But it is the Wraith King, and he does not have mana right now. If they can find a little bit more damage, they can take him out. The bot in the meantime gets his Viper Strike out. Can't include that ult from the Wraith King. Does have enough mana, pops that wand, and now he's at full HP, so ILTW might have to question his decision here. The Snapfire triple kill for Armel, making a great comeback in this fight. Despite the active being online for Miracle, the longer these fights go, the more damage he does. Looking to be active. Actually take him out. He finally gets killed. An ultra kill for Armel. The one hero that can't kill his fucking, he's going ham right now.
Fortunately for GH, there's still a boar, or Armel would get the rampage here, but GH should be able to find his escape. Just now got mana for the TP. And he's getting out. Yeah. Good fight for TNC. I think Miracle really wasted his roar there. He threw the roar on the Wraith King after he had used stick. So he got the kill, but Wraith King had mana to ult. And I think Miracle maybe made the read that if I roar him now, he doesn't have enough mana, so we don't have to deal with the second life. But wrong choice for sure, as there were other roar targets in range, and they would have killed the Wraith King with a diffusal maybe. So, bit of a mistake. First real mistake, I feel like, from NIGMA in this game, where their spellcasting just wasn't really on point. The chrono itself also wasn't great. So if your spellcasting goes like that, then TNC can definitely take that fight, especially on favorite territory.
Yeah, Tim's looks like he's actually working towards an Axe himself, so the old burrow capability and mana burn very powerful against GH in particular because of the high int gain. See if they can position themselves for a potential kill here, but
no breaking through the dire structures
so
for now.
Are going to be spotted as Gabby has the sacred road, really doesn't want to die right now. Tim's going to try to set up a kill bar, but that Viper Strike should be enough to kill Kuroki. The Hood expended as well, you're right. The Hood looks like it might be enough to survive potentially. He's actually going to use a Snapfire. Definitely not needed, but on the other side, they find the Wraith King despite the scan, and knowing that they were there, wasn't able to get out, so that's going to delay the Radiance, and that is a huge kill.
It's such a good trade, not just because you trade support for course, but think of the spells that were used. Viper Strike was used, Snapfire ult was used. Oof. They even coiled, right? Like they dropped 3 ults on Kuro and barely killed him.
Yeah. Here we see the replay on the kill for Gabby. Of course, his ult was not up yet. Pretty long cooldown at this current point in time. He's going to have to get shard this game, which you know, that's 1,400 gold you have to use just so you can actually use your ult because of the Diffusal Blade on ILTW. So still, there is ways to come back. I mean, right now he's still not in fighting shape. Like once you get Radiance, sure, but now it's going to be, this isn't the greatest timing. It's not terrible, but it's not great either. Like typically we'll see, like if you just go straight Radiance like he is now without going Midas, is like 16 minutes, I want to say, is like a relatively rough average.
Yeah, he's definitely behind par, I would say. It's not terrible though, but
yeah, it's not terrible.
But it's not great either. He still has about the same net worth as Void, but considering Wraith King has better farming tools and Void went Diffusal and not something like Maelstrom or Battle Fury, then he should be pulling ahead by more than just 400 gold 17 minutes in.
ILTW on the other hand, going for the more defensive, or I guess depending on your the scenario, offensive route with the BKB, just to be able to withstand some of this, well, a lot of this magic damage from TNC.
It just counters the entire enemy lineup, right?
Yeah, it's literally just Wraith King doing, I mean, even the Radiance is magic, I guess, but...
Yeah. I think I would expect all 3 cores on NIGMA to get BKB this game as one of their next items, one of their next 2. They might even try to combine it for some sort of a good timing, but it's not for sure that Mars can keep up, for example. But Beastmaster right now looking at a great net worth.
All right, well, Gabby, I believe his Radiance is being delivered, and we'll see if they want to fight right away. This is 18-minute Radiance.
Miracles is going to overlap with ILTWs. They're going to get it about the same time. So that's going to be a double BKB reveal when they take that fight. That's going to be such a strong timing for NIGMA. I actually don't see how TNC win a fight against that unless they get a surprise jump with Nyx and just burst Beastmaster before he BKBs. This guy's super tanky. 3k health and a BKB, that's like no way they kill him. And they can't fight into him, he does way too much damage.
Yeah, and this, we haven't really talked about it too much. I know it was nerfed, but the talent on Beastmaster for the Roar cooldown is pretty ridiculous.
It's very...
I mean, there's more than one reason why this hero was busted way back. I know they nerfed it slightly, and then, like you said, he's going to get the Aether Lens, I assume. And that's not even on the queue list yet, but it is a common item. He's actually queuing up Shard. Wow, so that's the Hawk that dives. I don't think you can control it anymore, right? It reduces the cooldown like you can see here, and you can do a dive bomb, which kind of suicides the bird for a nice stun. I haven't seen too much of this. Have you?
No, but it is decent value, right? You also get the reduced Hawk cooldown, which is just the higher level of play, the better that is because of how much you can take advantage of vision.
Mind control. Lives into the dust. Tims get caught out inside the arena. Mystic Flare finishes off, and KuroKy actually gets the last hit technically. Snapfire tries to cookie out. Boomy should be okay. It seems like TNC are just on the back foot right now. Mind control and company are just keeping the pressure on.
Radiant's top tower's in bad
TNC
shape.
getting a little bit of
Dire's
momentum on
mid
their side,
towers having
perhaps.
technical difficulties.
I believe Roshan will spawn in a couple minutes. Is that the actual timer, or is that when
Did you just call it Roshan?
Rosh and his brother. You know what Roshan means in Farsi?
No, but I know it's named after IceFrog's bowling ball.
Well, in Farsi it means light. And like bright, which is the polar opposite of what you see in the pit. So something tells me it's not based on my native language, Cinderin.
I see.
Yeah. But on the other side, I mean, we haven't really seen any great Boomy ults yet. They haven't been able to set it up with a nice coil. That's kind of their team fight for the most part, with Wraith King just soaking up a ton of damage. Now that he has Radiance, perhaps they can try to set something up here. Armel still doesn't have the blink. Actually goes for a different route here. Witchblade into the Yule's Boots of Travel. I mean, he's really farmed, so he's going to get blink not too far away. But BKB basically done for ILTW. Oh, Miracle.
This would be a big pick.
This would be huge. He's the top net within the game, but Mind Control's going to find the potential pick. Mystic Flare combination. Gabby, that's his first life. Remember, he does have Rage. We'll see how much Armel the company can do here. Roar expended onto the Wraith King. Making this kill. This is enormous. Kronos are only on a 1, but it's the Nyx Assassin. Snapfire out to follow. They're doing quite a bit of damage. They lose the Mars. Buyback onto GH as well. Can Void get out of here is the question. ILTW cannot get to the high ground. Has to pop his BKB. Stand his ground, but he's no ground to stand on anymore. He drops. And this fight for TNC going very well despite losing the Wraith King. Now the next hero on the list is the Beastmaster Miracle, who drops. Bach is just doing work right now. KuroKy not doing that much damage because everybody's so close to him. The Snapfire Cookie's not going to save anybody, so they do find the Viper in the end. GH misses the Atos. Hits one of those annoying skeletons, and KuroKy with a double kill randomly. That was a strange fight, but TNC obviously came out on top there.
Yeah, I think given how that fight started for NIGMA, I don't think they should be too sad with the total outcome. Considering that they spent the Arena and the Roar going on Wraith King only, and that they chrono 1 support, getting a 3 for 4 is actually not that bad in those circumstances. The Puck obviously getting another completely free fight. You need to recognize as NIGMA here that your only stuns are ultis and a spear. So if you combine one of those ultis and the spear on one guy who you don't even kill when you take him down the first time, you're spending a lot of resources and taking a really big risk. Now, if more heroes have BKB, like let's say Mind Control had a BKB there, I think this move is way better because you obviously can reset and get a second round of spells. But yeah, I think I don't think NIGMA are going to go for this approach again. I think they will not. They're less likely to open on Wraith King like this. If you want to open on Wraith King, do it with Skywrath, I think, and try to preserve Arena possibly.
Yeah, so Gabby has that casual Sage as his ult is about to come back up, and BKB is next on the list for him. Tim's scouting things out here.
There is a dust on ILTW.
There is. That was from Tim's perspective, like, do they see me? I guess not. Still doing a nice job of scouting. I mean, he's only 1,500 away from finishing his axe, which
bottom tower.
feels like more of a defensive thing sometimes. I mean, offensively, if you set it up right, if you're behind enemy lines, then it's really good. But
Radiant
just gives you all that tank ability and just
pretty
upgrades
sight
literally
right
all
now.
of your spells. So pretty high value Aghanim Scepter for Nyx Assassin.
Radiant's bottom tower
another 20
seen better
seconds it looks
days.
like, which I mean, if you're TNC, you have to know that this is a possibility, and the fact that there's a
Dire's top
Beastmaster means you can
tower,
just take this
you know
super
the
fast
drill.
for TNC.
treasury.
It's got multiple Hawks out now. Wait, did he actually get his shard?
Yeah, he did.
Finish it? Okay.
He used it last fight as well. He had one dive
did he?
bomb. Yeah. It's
Trouble
bomb,
brewing at
okay.
Radiant's bottom tower.
the icon for that looks so cool.
Oh, dive bomb onto Wraith King. Yeah. There's no sound. Is there no sound effect, or is that just me?
Radiant's
there needs to be
bottom
like
tower ain't a pretty
a
sight right
screeching
now.
howl or something like that. It's a dying bird for God's sake. Mind control finds the initiation. Looks like they'll be able to get the snapfire in quick succession. But now that turns into a 5v4. No buyback for him, and that's one pretty big ult to try to contest Roche that they won't have. As you're seeing the power of this vision of all the Hawks.
And if the enemy team is going to run through them, you know there's going to be stuns coming up.
There's going to be, what are they called, Cinderin?
Dive bombs.
That's right.
Radiant's gone and
Made it sound
fortified
like
their
an ad.
structures. Radiant's mid tower just got stunned.
Okay, please don't get...
Radiant's
did he
mid
eat it?
tower's coming
Did he take the
apart.
shard? This reverse time.
You know what? I have a really good reason this guy took it.
Okay.
There's been a lot of speculation about what ILTW's nickname stands for, right?
Okay.
I love time walking.
All right.
So
I can dig it.
They're playing to his strengths. Now he can do it twice as much.
All right.
That's what it does. Cast it again. You love it.
So, to be fair, it does give 400 extra range, I believe, to his time walk. So just by that alone, that's pretty good. And then obviously, once you use time walk, you get to use a reverse time walk, which is a 1.5 seconds duration, essentially, that you're able to use it. But it doesn't like mimic your HP, or it doesn't do anything with your HP, and it doesn't work with your Aghanim Scepter. So it's kind of one of those weird ones where, I mean, I'm not saying it's bad by any means, because obviously the cast range is great. It's just that Mars's is so freaking good, man.
I feel like the Mars shard is very game specific because
Really?
Yeah, because the enemy team needs to have a lineup where it feels likely that you hit two people with spear at once, right? Like at this level of play, you're looking at the lineup you're facing, you're unlikely to hit
Dire's
puck at
top
all.
tower's getting
You
beat
might
down.
be able to hit Nyx +1 if Nyx and Wraith King stack, but are they going to do that? Like realistically, Nyx will flank or he will backstab, and Wraith King will be alone in the front, and Snapfire will be a million range behind the fight. So I don't really think you're going to get a 2-hero spear.
Okay.
Do I think the Void shard is good? I don't know. Like I've found it really weird in general, but after seeing the games here at the major and seeing how many people choose to give it to Void, you gotta think that there's something to it, right?
Yeah, Tim's attempting to TP out in the
Bash.
No bash. All right, but there is a roar, and it looks like
Radiant's
Boomy
mid
will find his way
tower's
to the
getting
grid
backed
again.
up.
And now
Radiant's
trying to do his
mid
best to
tower's
push
in
out these
trouble.
other lanes to force out some
Have
of
fun trying to
force out some
bust
TPs,
down
and he'll
Radiant
be
structures
successful with
now. Dire's
ILTW.
top tower,
The
you know
culprit
the
here.
drill.
I don't know
The
if I like
Dire
the
went and
SNY.
fortified their structures. The
Could
Dire
have
might
maybe been a
want to
little bit more
mine their top
ambitious and got a
tower.
higher damage item, seeing he already has the BKB against the lineup that it counters very well.
Right.
Maybe he's concerned that he
Radiant's
isn't going to
mid
get
tower
enough done in
use
the
a hand.
BKB and he wants to be able to fight
Dire's
outside it,
top
but
tower's getting
I
beat
think
down.
something like either a raw damage item or some
Dire's
hybrid
top
item like
tower's
AC could have maybe
gone.
been interesting here.
Radiant's mid tower's
You can see
coming
that
apart.
Miracle did get his level 20 talent that reduces cooldown on Primal Roar, which again was nerfed. But the fact that you typically would build an Aether Lance into an Octarine core,
Radiant's
not only
mid
for the,
tower's
the
coming
cast
apart.
range and whatnot, but the CDR, which will stack multiplicatively, Cinderman. It's just ridiculous, especially in conjunction with the extra Hawks that you get. So they're gonna have tons of vision. The roars are gonna be constant. This is pretty sick.
That's true. It actually makes the Hawks a lot better. The cooldown on Hawks currently is 15 seconds, so with an Octarine that goes down to 11 points.
Radiant's bottom tower's seen better
Yeah,
days.
that's exactly right. And it changes wild axis to be negative 1.3 seconds. And if you know that.
Radiant's
Very
bottom
good.
tower
Calculates
ain't
when the
pretty
axis was
sight right
supposed to
now.
return, and then you get to throw them again.
That's right. Very good synergy. ILTW, as we can see in the jungle now. Elven Tunic's pretty good. I do like that item.
Yep.
A little bit of evasion for him. Is there... What neutral item for tier 3 for TNC are you hoping for? Are you hoping for the life seal for Wraith King? Or something else?
I'm trying to think of what the best thing they could get would be.
Take your time.
Yeah, it takes some time.
Miracle, he gets the initiation off onto the Wraith King. Talk about this again, how they probably shouldn't be using all this onto him. Not that much expended, really. They still have Mars ult. Gabby pops the BKB, though. See if Team NIGMA wants to reset. There's the initiation from ILTW onto 2. Nyx Assassin, they see him. That's a newly picked up Aghanim Scepter, but the Mystic Slayer is just way too much damage. Bot picks up his, pops his newly picked up BKB as well. That's a double kill for ILTW. Final chance. Beautiful Mars ult are now. Gets off the face shift. Illusory Orb to follow. Looks like he will be able to get out. And a Cornell to help finish off that pesky Mars as well. So now it turns into a 3 versus 4 in favor of Team NIGMA still. I love the patience though for mind control, but not able to find that kill on Buck.
Yeah, that was really good. They were lacking just a little bit of 3 seconds.
That's 4 in a row.
Oh dear, he does have shards, so the mana burn doesn't really matter anymore for those purposes at least.
He was not expecting that they stuck around there.
Yeah.
Oof, that feels so bad. It's one thing to die there, but you know you had literally 1 second and you just wanted to save that little bit of efficiency by walking out early.
Min-maxing.
Yeah. That's one of those risk-reward scenarios where you're like, really? You know?
Yeah. All right, this is, I love the Aghanim Scepter for ILTW that he's working on now. He's going to get the time dilation off into the reverse time walk. Goodness gracious, what a play. Boomy. All right, still being chased here. ILTW doesn't have the reverse time walk anymore. It might be a precarious, but they're just going to blow him up. Should have reverse time walk Cinderin.
He just lost his Aegis to the timer.
Yeah, well that went off like 5, like that was a decent amount of time before that. Still went in, but Kuroki getting chased now, of course, extremely tanky. His Martel just going to use the zone.
You gotta wonder if he even noticed. Like, did he swap an item into the slot before?
That's a good question.
Or did he do it after he died?
I mean, it does make a very loud sound.
Do something about that.
Maybe listen to music or something.
He couldn't hear it because of all the Hawk dive bombs going on.
The sound that doesn't exist right now, yeah.
It's a lot of white noise. We can't hear it as casters, but in the game, it's like, you know when you use global sounds and all sound stops, that's what the dive bombs do.
I see. Wow, that's very lore friendly too.
Yes.
I feel like it should be the opposite. It should deafen you. Like, you should be hearing like that, you know, that high-pitched sound when you hear something too loud.
It should be like flashbanged in Counter-Strike?
Yeah, exactly. Just get flashbanged. I mean, they have concussive grenade for sniper, so they're getting closer to Counter-Strike every day.
Give sniper a flashbang as a spell. That would be awesome.
Yeah, that would be cool. It makes sense for a Night Stalker though. The D-Ward is like costing his life. Mystic Flare Spear, not the greatest layering, but it's more than enough damage.
It'll do.
It'll do.
It's a tower now.
Great job, Raid King Skeletons. You're doing God's work right now. Gaben.
Okay, I feel like everybody calls the skeletons something different. What do you call them?
Just skeletons.
You call them skeletons.
Yeah, why? What else do you call them?
I call them the boys.
Oh.
It's my boys.
Always. See.
I know, I think people call them different things. Maybe those are literally the only 2 things. Maybe I'm literally the only person not calling them skeletons. I don't know.
I've never heard anyone else call them the boys, but...
my boys.
They are brainwashed. I wonder what the lore behind them are, because they really have a mind of their own. And they make the wrong decision many times. They don't like to aggro a lot of the times, and you have to rate fire back blast a creep wave so they come next to you. Bottom lane, another pick on Nix's really? I mean, hasn't been that many fights, but hasn't paid off yet, that's for sure.
I'm not really sold on that item on Nyx in general, because I feel like it's an item that, you know, my favorite thing to talk about with like setting up the right conditions to use your heroes and items, right?
The boring stuff, yeah.
It needs a specific kind of fight before you feel really good about it, right? You need to either be pre-dug before the fight begins, or you need to spend time doing it.
In the Dire's bottom tower.
And
can't do nothing about Dire's
that
structures
could have
right
been
now.
almost an E-Blade, or it could have been a Eul's plus something. It could have been a Halberd, you know, which is it's easier to find the use of those in any given fight. The Axe can be incredible in the right kind of fight, but are you going to get those?
Dire gave up the bottom
maybe
tower.
his hope is that if I'm Burrowed, I'm not going to die in Chrono to Skyrath. I think he's still going to die. But maybe the tankiness is worth it. I don't know. Like maybe that's the reason.
I think it's 40% damage reduction, which is huge.
It is a lot.
I can't blame him for thinking that, because he's going to get missed. But the problem is, like you're saying, that they set up for Skyrath in every way. Like that's what Skyrath kind of wants, right?
And they have no way of saving him if he's Chrono. There's nothing that.
Well, if you get Gobble Up for Snapfire.
Gobble Up plus
the range on that is not going to be super hot.
I mean, I guess they do have a glimmer, but.
Regeneration!
Maybe I'll eat my words in 5 minutes because it just wins them a team fight or something, but I've found that this item on Nyx just doesn't feel that great a lot of the time.
For high ground defense, which looks like they might be up against here, right? That it
Obviously,
is good.
If that's what he was itemizing for, if he was like, we're in trouble, I need to defend my base, then it's the best item you can buy.
But he did go for it really early. It was
committed.
quite even at that time.
He committed to it 15, 20 minutes ago.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, I don't know. Helps all your spells. It gives you a lot of range on Impale and
Illusion.
the cooldown reduction as well. Like it does so much. But yeah, we'll see.
If you ever find the kind of fight that you want, it's going to be amazing.
I mean, the problem so far is he's kind of been in front, which that's more of a backline spell, or a backline burrow, right?
Yeah, I mean,
a lot of the time at least.
It's good if you're in front, as long as you're in front when the fight starts, but it's really difficult, right? Like, let's say he opens out of Vendetta and then stuns and wants to burrow, he could just get silenced by Skywrath.
Right.
Or he can get hit by any stun or all this stuff. So usually in these games, it's probably going to be better to have it precast, but then you need to have a very good read of when the enemy team is going somewhere so that you can either like break a smoke into a long-range impale
The
or
boys.
get a good air.
Well, actually, we can't use that. It's copyright. That's a show. It's a really good show. You should watch that, Synderen. That's my next recommendation for you.
Okay.
Aghanim Scepter almost online for ILTW. Will not have buyback anytime soon, though, as we will find out in about 40 seconds where the next Roche is. So the Aghanim Scepter for Mr. Void, he basically bashes everything that he time walks through. And again, it does not work on reverse time walk.
But it still gives him a lot of burst now that he has reverse time walk, where he can walk through the enemy team and just go straight back, make sure he sets up stuns for combinations with Skywrath, combinations with Beastmaster, even with Mars.
Yeah, keep in mind, he took I believe he took the talent that reduces cooldown on the time walk as well, which is obviously what you want if you go for this build. All right, another Toxin ends up killing one of the Hawks. Didn't hear the squeal. There's no death sound. It really bothers me. It's just like this silent grave. Well,
to be fair, his Hawks are pterodactyls, and we have no recordings of what they sound like. They might have been mute.
Okay, that is a good point. We don't have enough information to know whether they had... I mean, we can tell if they had vocal cords, probably, based on scientific evidence. Probably somebody in chat knows that they're, the evidence does exist.
I think everyone in chat right now is literally spelling out what they sound like.
Okay. Oh, we're gonna have the roar come out from Miracle. And it seems to be, Boomy has just found his way on the other side of this so many times now. Looks like they still want to fight. He's gonna buy back into the game. Looks like he falls right away. IceFrog, the BKB gets that Mars ult off, but Bok's just gonna walk out of his own accord. ILTW looks like he is resetting completely. Coil out for one. He's in his form right now in the burrow. He's down to a couple here in the including that Nyx assassin. The Mystic Blade, like we talked about, just not enough damage mitigation from him. He's gonna buy back into the game though.
Come on, Spikes!
This is now a 4v5, technically speaking, as the cheese is popping ILTW. Do they have the damage to finish him off? Looks like they do not. Wait. Now coming with the first damage. It means no buyback for ILTW.
Too damn. Radiant's bottom tower seen better
days. They get the kills. It did require buybacks, but now Roche is up. This is a big deal.
That's a dieback from Kuro.
Pressure charge, which, I mean, you're always hoping for the Ags, I feel like. That just increases your net worth, and it's just a free item. Pressure charge just a consumable. But
you know what? That Axe on Nyx was actually really good there, even though he died.
Yeah, it took a while to kill him.
It took them quite a while. They did kill him, but he had the buyback, so he could come back in and then again burrow and get some good stuns off toward the end. Also, I really love the way TNC started that fight, where there's an Ench on the front line who feels tanky and wants to soak damage. They stun the Ench, they nether Toxin, they get down.
Oh man, the Mystic Flare, that's actually just enough.
1k gold!
Wow. Goodness gracious. Yeah, the Ancient Seal obviously amplifying even more damage. That's...
Radiant's mid tower could use a hand.
That is so much money.
Yeah, with that fight, though, this game has evened up in net worth.
Completely. Alright.
Alright, Atos. Cookie's gonna try to save the Wraith King here. Does have the Aegis, so has many lives as long as they can wait out the cooldown here.
Miracle needs to be a little bit careful how he throws his axes when he's playing against Spike Carapace. Like, he can get stunned at any given point and counter going on.
Yeah, that's true. Oh, Mars Arena, but there's the BKB. How did he get stunned if he is BKB? What was that?
It's the roar.
I thought he roared right before that.
Did you not hear the roar?
No, I didn't.
I guess it doesn't have a sound effect, so that does make sense.
I didn't even see the animation. All right, Boxing the BKB TP out. And again, Snapfire is going to be the sacrificial lamb for TNC, but that's worked out pretty well for them already.
I like
take it.
I like that play from Gabby to BKB there, even though he had Aegis. He wants to protect the Aegis. He thinks it has enough value that it's worth burning a BKB to get out.
Yeah.
I do think that's right, especially, I mean, he might have had to do it anyway because Armel is dead, so he would have to BKB his third life and then TP out, so might as well do it while there's still the Aegis intact. Now, I'm not sure if I like the decision of giving him the Aegis to begin with, though. They were there with Puck, right, on the Roche? I think he was able to take it.
Yeah.
I will say, right? He didn't die in that fight, so...
Yeah. I think they gave the shard, or not the shard, the refresher shard to Snapfire, if I'm not mistaken. Which they just don't have an amazing carrier for it. I get Puck would maybe be the best.
Pretty damn good on Puck, in my opinion. Double Axe Coil is no joke.
Either way, I mean, Miracle is now level 25, which our beautiful observer was showing the talent that was kind of put in after the nerfs to be able to increase the damage of the axes. So if you ever look at level 25, it's almost like having the old axe. Something, I'm trying to remember, was it 8? Was it 80 extra damage that you got? I can't remember.
40, then it was 30, and then it was 0.
Right, so 40, 30, 0, and now you get the 40 back through 25. So, and he has the Octarine Core, so he's basically peaked. This is as strong as he's going to get. He actually gets the Timeless Relic as well, which is insanely good.
He is so strong.
I guess he can eat his Ags. Oh no, he still has a slot for his bottle, so Sheepstick looks to be next. But he's, in terms of damage, this is his peak, basically.
You could get Chaos and which was a popular item for Beastmasters to get back then as well.
Yeah.
The status resistance and the damage amp, the mono region, all really good items, or really good stats for the Beastmaster build. In a way, I would kind of like that more than the Hex, just because they're buying Hex on Sky. Like, I don't know if they need to, but it's obviously going to feel good no matter what. And since he has the cast range and the cooldown reduction of Octarine, it is a really powerful item for sure.
Yeah, you want clickables.
Yeah.
I mean, the Puck might have to go for like a Lincoln Sphere or something, because if you get Hex, you're just dead.
I think it needs
this stage of the game.
I think it needs Disc or BKB at this point.
And Disc as well would be a good choice.
I don't know if you like
Wind
BKB.
Waker, wow.
You probably don't like BKB.
Yes,
You're
what's
against Roar
happening
and
to Dire
Chrono.
bottom
You don't really
tower?
feel that safe anyway.
No breaking through the dire
yeah.
structures for now.
All right, Kuro getting chased by Tim. He's going to put down a sentry, so he knows what's coming, but the Force Staff just in time. Armel gets the Yules off, but not going to follow it up with anything, it looks like.
That was a really scary position for TNC. I think backing out is a good call. Yeah, I feel like Puck with this Wind Waker is going to aim to save from Roar.
Do something about that bottom tower.
Whoever gets roared, he's going to try to save. Doesn't matter who it is. It's going to buy the time necessary, and then like it's probably going to see the disc. But I don't actually know if he even wants to do that either.
Yeah, Wind Waker, not an item we get to see too often. You can, like you said, you can use your teammates, and if you use yourself, you can move around for a bit, which is pretty cool. It's just so expensive. I feel like this item, I don't know if they're going to change things, but I would assume the price is maybe on the top of the list. I mean, a lot of the new items they put in are just not picked up, right? I mean, this one feels like a big luxury, so maybe it's not on the same level as, what is that item that we always talk about that reduces magic damage for enemies?
Mage Slayer.
Mage Slayer, there we go, thank you. It's a cool concept, just very bad right now, sadly.
It got buffed 200 gold in cost, and still nobody buys it.
Yeah, it needs to be a lot cheaper still, I think. I mean, the stats are good. Like, if certain agility heroes are like, it sounds kind of good, but in practice, it doesn't feel very impactful, you know?
I think the problem is you always need to hold it up against what else you can buy, right? It's 3,200 gold. Right. It doesn't give you anything defensive except against magic heroes. So in order to feel like it's worth it, you probably want 2 enemy cores to be magic damage. Like, let's say you're playing against... That's the thing, right? Who builds a lineup right now in Dota that doesn't have a physical damage safe lane carry, right? Like, there's always going to be 1, maybe 2 cores that it's not good against, and then you're pigeonholing yourself into having to hit the guy that it's good against, only to not get killed by that guy, but get killed by the other guys. And you don't get the benefits of having like a self-dispel from Manta, or having a BKB, or having faster farming, because it's also not good farming value for the cost, right? You could have had a Maelstrom instead, or 2/3 of a Battle Fury, so...
Yeah, very true.
I think there's literally one pub I played in the last month where someone bought it where I was like, damn, that was a good buy. And I think we had a safe lane Lesh and a mid Zeus or something like that. Yeah. Then it was really good. But
I mean, ILTW, he's almost done with a nullifier.
Yep.
So that'll counter Ghost Scepters, Aeon Discs, and all the likes. So.
Does it counter the Wind Waker too?
It should, right?
I think the Wind Waker is dispellable like any Yules, right?
Yeah,
we almost never see this item, but... Oh, it's like, whatever.
But I don't believe, like, Sheep would not... I don't think it works against Sheep. Well, you can't use it on allies anyway, so it doesn't matter. But, yeah, Nullifier is a really cool item. I mean, the fact that ILTW does not have remotely close money for buyback is a little scary if you're a NIGMA fan, but... Because this game is extremely even. But this is a pretty freaking hype game, I have to say. We're going to see late game Gabby here with a Nullifier. So that's... Still has the casual Zane. His item's too good still, apparently. Does he turn that into something, or is he just going to get some big boy item like a rapier or something like that?
I think he's going to replace it. There's not... Halberd doesn't feel worth it, I think.
I feel like Aghanim Scepter is really good this game, although the next Roche might just give you one for free, so...
Yeah.
Wraith King Ags is, I think, severely underrated in these late game scenarios.
See, so I feel like in many ways, Spider Legs is the single best tier 3 item in the game for this reason.
Yes.
When you get to this game state, you have an inventory slot that other heroes don't, because you have free boots. And yeah, you're trading it off for, say, Paladin Sword, where you have some damage and lifesteal, but the fact that he doesn't need to dedicate a slot to Boots of Travel, Treads, or Phase Boots is just so damn good right now.
That's true.
So,
and Gab is actually holding the Refresher Shard, so probably will pop that in for his BKB when he uses it. Yep. Gabby's going to initiate with that Nullifier. Looks like it's going to be used against the Aeon. There's a GH getting the fight. The buyback on the GH now. There's the Roar. Again, it's on the Wraith King. Oh, nice impact from afar thanks to that Aghanim Scepter and Nyx Assassin. Looks like that is going to be the fight for TNC big time, despite the buyback coming out. But GH, can he get this kill? He will! He does get Armel in the end, despite being completely outnumbered. Now, keep in mind that buybacks are still there for NIGMA. See if they want to use these to try to turn things around. ILTW not able to get much off here as Gabby will actually pop the Refresher Shard here to get his ult back as there's a double buyback. They're keeping into the Shrine as well, but looks like GX takes a tumble already with that Nullifier usage. ILTW going into the Aghanim Scepter on the boom right now. They're trying to kite Gabby as much as possible, but these Spider Legs are coming into handy big time. There's 2 buybacks now for TNC. There's a Nullifier again onto ILTW, who has absolutely no mana whatsoever. Trying to get slow onto Gabby, trying to kite this guy. Just one-shots that boar. Now Kuroki, very tanky on the run. It's still 5 versus 3 despite all these buybacks coming in. A couple right clicks will suffice, and looks like Kuroki finds his way to the grave. They do get the Snapfire though.
Was that that was the Refresher Shard used by Wraith King, right?
King, yeah.
Oh, that was so good. He used it to refresh his blink. Like they actually they get the double chase down because of this, and the reason he is willing to commit it is that he knows it's a dieback for Skywrath if he dies. So that alone forced out the buybacks from Miracle and Kuro, and they just get so many bonus kills. Yeah, he's not gonna
into
get
the dive. He pops the A on this. That's pretty valuable, but there's a spike carapace. This might set things up. There's the coil. So he's going to stay on the outskirts of this. Pops the BKB. The Nullifier's already applied. It looks like the right-click damage will be more than enough. And this is a dive onto Miracle. TNC turning this game around. Roshan in 35 seconds. See what buildings they can get. I mean, this is a full 2 minutes without the strongest hero on your team.
If they're feeling really ballsy, they could go for the game. I think they're probably going to get 2 lanes.
And then Roche?
Or 1 lane in Roche if they want to be really safe. But they don't know the exact Roche timer. I don't know if this was an early or late Roche.
I mean, they're taking buildings so fast. They know this is a dieback.
Oh, they have the poison attack talent. They could actually end.
They're going for 2.
There goes the Radiant's
for now. Of course, they cannot get Megas because of this top lane. Also getting pushed out by LCW. That's a shard on Viper. This is super good. This is minus armor on buildings. Unbelievably strong. They did nerf it a little bit because of that talent change, but it looks like they're able to finish this game. Fortifications popped, still 77 seconds, no Miracle. The minus armor is just going to continue to stack on these towers as Gabby's right clicks will be more than enough. Mind Control is going to try to defend for one last hurrah. There's the initiation, but again, Wraith King, we have the Mystic Flare fly, it's the Nullifier onto ILTW who jumps in, pops the BKB, Chronosphere onto 3 heroes. This is the first life for Wraith King. And now NIGMA have to reset, but it's still 5 versus 4. And Viper continuing to apply pressure. This tier 4 tower looks like TNC are going to respect NIGMA, and with that 45-second window, we'll try to get Roshan, I assume.
I think they can re-go when Wraith ulti is up. I think they're just waiting for that.
Yeah, that's true. All right, still 37 seconds. They're going to get this tier 4 tower.
Siege engine.
Radiant's mid tower.
This shard is insane for these purposes. Exactly. ILTW, reverse time walk. Tim's, look at his positioning. They cannot get to him whatsoever. The chrono's down. Just trying to be as annoying as possible. I mean, this is fine time for Miracle to come back in 20 seconds. ILTW continue to be an annoying presence. Gabby just has so many lives, it feels like. There's a spear into the Ancient, but the damage is still being applied. Gabby is just focusing on the Ancient completely. Marlowe comes out, Spider Legs and right-clicking down to TNC. Takes game 1. My goodness. This was a hell of a game, Syndra.
We've been having so many pretty one-sided games. That was very enjoyable to watch. I think the Nyx Ags was wonderful.
Thank you, Synderin, for admitting it finally. The hoodwink as well, the previous series.
Absolutely, I just love being wrong. It's a chronicle, it's a condition I have.
Chronic condition for you. All right.
No, so I think overall the main thing in this game was there was a couple of moments where Nick